Welcome to Womanhood GFF, God, Friends, and Family. It's night before Thanksgiving, and I'm in my kitchen at 8:30, and I've been in it all day baking various things, and mostly pumpkin bread is a family favorite of ours, and so I'll give you a little sneak view of the pumpkin bread. But I was fixing to put my dressing together and thought that I might show you what I do to make what our family enjoys as their turkey dressing, or anytime you want a good homemade dressing. And it's easy to make, it's quick to put together, and I personally don't like stuffing in the thought that it's put inside the bird and you take it in. I personally don't like that, but dressing, I do where you bake it separate from the turkey, and so you can have it if you're having ham, chicken, whatever you want. Your basic ingredients is bread. The more kinds of bread, the better. You want at least 3 different kinds of bread, but if you can get 4 or 5, then great. But at least 3 different kinds of bread. So before the holidays, or before I want to plan to make the dressing, I go ahead and I save the end pieces out of bread. Just so you would have either thrown it outside of the birds, throw it in the trash, whatever you do. Well, instead of throwing it away, I save them. And so even if there should be a stray piece that's gotten a little stale or whatever, I still save them. I put them in a bread bag that's empty, and I just keep them in that. When I get that bread bag about half full, then I stop saving. But while I'm saving them, I put them in the bread bag, and then I put them in the freezer until I'm ready for them. After I've frozen them, and then I'm ready to make my dressing, then I take them out of the freezer. It doesn't take long for them to thaw. I stick them in my toaster oven, and I toast them so that they're easy to crumble up after they're crusty. I also make a pan of cornbread, and I use, just make however you'd make cornbread, just make it very simple. After I've made it, let it cool, I crumble it up. I also try to save a hot dog bun or a hamburger bun, and do the same thing. If I have a couple left over, I would freeze them and then get it back out and then toast it a little bit and crumble it up. If I have Pepperidge Farm stuffing, just any kind of dried breadcrumbs or stuffing that's already made, I may add a little bit of it. This time I don't have any, so I'm not going to use that. So you're just the more variety of breads: white bread, wheat bread, buns, leftover biscuit, cornbread, Pepperidge Farm stuffing or something similar to that, is all you're going to need for your bread. How much of that will depend on how big of a pan. You'd want a good 6 to 8 cups of crumbed bread in order to make a regular baking pan of dressing. And it'll fill up a 9 by 12 pan, probably about 2 to 3 inches thick. And so you'll have a good pan of dressing, and it'll be very moist, and you'll enjoy it. So after I've gotten my bread and crumble it up, I would saute an onion and about 1.5 cups of celery. And I chop them up very, very fine. And I use a chopper to do that. If you want to do it by hand, it's fine. But you saute them with some butter. After you've cooked that, you will add that to the bread mix. You will also add a can of cream of chicken soup and some beef broth, some chicken broth, and an egg, and you would stir all that up and mix it together in a big bowl, and then put it in your baking pan. And so I'm going to mix it together and put it in the pan and show you what it looks like after it's been put in the pan. Okay, I'm going to tilt the camera away from me and into my bowl just so you'd see. I've got the breadcrumbs. This is a very large mixing bowl, and I've got it about half full of various breads. I'm going to add a couple of eggs, in here. And I had already sauteed some onions and celery and a couple of tablespoons of butter. Put that in there. This is not a very high seasoned stuffing. It's pretty simple. Your flavoring is coming from the onions and celery and from the chicken broth. I get a can of cream of chicken soup, and then I'm going to put all of it in here. This is something that if you have younger children or grandchildren around, they could help break the bread up, crumble it up. Definitely can stir it. They like to do stuff like that. My son helped chop up the celery and onions with the chopper. I told him I made him the official family chopper. So we've got that mixed in there. And then we're going to put chicken broth, and you would need a cup or two, just enough to make this very moist. There's a lot of bread. It's going to soak up. You can put cream of mushroom soup in here, cream of celery, cream of chicken. Either one would be fine for you to put in there. So this will be very stiff. So you just add the broth till you get it mixed up pretty good where it is moist. You don't want it to be soupy. You don't want it to be dry. You want it to be able to stick together. When you put it in your pan. Just about perfect. And when you bake it, you don't want it to be over-baked, because then it'll dry out. As it sits, it will harden up, but it will cut like you would a slice of cake. You can keep it in the pan, in the baking pan, and serve it from the pan, or you'll need to cook it ahead of time and then slice it to where that it'll harden up and come out of the pan in squares. Okay, I've got my pan here, and we're going to grease it and get it ready. I'm not going to bake this until the turkey is done, but to make my day easier in the morning, I'm going ahead and putting it together tonight, because the messy part is all the chopping, cutting that you got to do. And I would like tomorrow to have less mess. So you just smash that down. And just use your hands, put it in there. And you've got a very full, thick pan of a mixed bread stuffing, or dressing. Some people may still refer to it as a cornbread dressing. I personally don't, because of all the different breads that are in there. Just a good mixed bread and dressing. If you have a favorite recipe, favorite dressing that you would like to share with us, be sure and leave me a note or an email. You can email me at womanhoodgff@yahoo.com.